Hi guys, it's Mrs. Chalk here. You're going to need your packet, so make sure you have your new packet for Unit 4. We're going to take some notes, but then you're watching this on Ed Puzzle because while you're taking the notes, I'm going to ask you questions. So you're going to have to answer some questions that go with the notes, and that's how you'll get a grade. Okay, so let's get started. Intro to Similarity. If I go too fast, this is a video. You can pause it, you can back it up, you can make it work for you. Okay, so let me hide that. There we go. So, congruent figures. What exactly does congruent mean? Well, figures are congruent if they are the same size and the same shape. So same size and same shape, okay? The angle measures and the side lengths are exactly the same, but they do not have to be oriented, and that means like facing the same way. Oriented means facing the same way. Okay, determine if each of the set of figures is congruent, so that means same size, same shape. Label them and justify your reasoning. Well, I mean, we can just look at this. You've got a 9 here, you got a 5 here. So no, not same size or shape. One's a square and one's a rectangle. So that would be no. What about this one? Well, this is what we were just talking about being oriented the same way. Let's take a further look at it. So this one right here aligns with this one right here. That's the same. And then let me get a different color. This one, is there one that would go with the 9? Yeah, there's a 9 right here. So that lines up. And let's just make sure the last one lines up too. 8 aligns with 8. So the answer to this is yes. They are congruent. They are the same shape. Are the same shape and size. Okay? I want you to answer numbers 3 and 4. Okay, how did you do? Did you get them right? I hope so. Keep in mind, you can always go back through and do this again. I know with my classes, I give you 2 chances to do this. So if you didn't get it right, I hope you get it right the next time. Okay, now let's talk about similar shapes. In order for figures to be similar, they must be the same shape. Okay, so you can't have like what you had up here. You can't have a rectangle and a triangle. Same shape. The corresponding angles, that means in the same place, measures must be equal, or as we just learned, congruent. Okay. And the corresponding side length must be proportional. Remember that word, proportional? We had to learn about that because now we're going to start using it in this unit. So it didn't go away. It's coming back. Okay, so let's look at the figures below. The figures below are similar. Determine if the corresponding angles and corresponding side lengths. The figures below are similar. Determine the corresponding angles and the corresponding side length. Okay, so this right here means angle A. Angle A is right here, and I can see angle A is straight up from the right angle. See that right angle? It's the one straight up. So angle A would correspond with angle D. So we would say angle D. So side length AB, let's draw that here. Side length AB I don't draw very good straight lines, would be the same as DE. DE. So we're going to say DE. Okay. So angle B, let's do a different color. B, that's the right angle. That would go with angle E. Angle E. I guess I should have made this one capital. So let's erase that and make it capital. Okay. So if B and E are the exact same, then BC is going to correspond with EF. EF. Okay. And then angle C, that's the one that's left. So angle C, and we're going to make that yellow. That would correspond with angle F. And so that means this last side, CA, CA, would correspond with FD. I'm kind of sloppy, huh? Well, that should make you feel good that I'm sloppy, because you can be a little bit sloppy. Here, we'll erase that a little bit. There we go. Okay, that looks a little bit better. Okay, so moving on, let's talk about the scale factor. So scale factor. Oh, and just to talk about this just a little bit. So remember that they have to be the same shape. So these are the same shape. Okay. And then we have our corresponding angles. Those measurements, or the angles, would be the same angles. So this is a 90, this is a 90. Now the side lengths would mean that they're proportional. And we'll talk about that more as we go down into scale factor. Okay. So scale factor is the ratio of the corresponding sides. So remember up here we had corresponding sides. So CA corresponded with FD and BC corresponded with EF. Okay. So those ratios are going to be in proportion. The scale factor is the ratio of the corresponding sides in a figure. Okay. So for figures to be similar, they must have the same ratio or the same scale factor. The shapes are labeled by corresponding angles, so they will start in the same point and go in the same direction around the shape. Okay, so let's see what they're talking about here. So like 4, 6. So this 4, 6, let's just do this one. And this one. There's our 4, 6. Okay, that's going to be the scale factor of 2, 3, because 4, 6 can be reduced to 2, 3. So this is a 2/3 scale factor. Okay, so this was 6, and this 4 is 2/3 of that 6. Okay, so now let's look at this. Rectangle G, so we're starting on G, GHIJ is enlarged. It's going to get bigger to become KLMN. Okay? So what did we enlarge it by? So we want to put, as you see up here, we want to put the new on top of the original. Okay. So what's our new? This was 5. What's our new? 20. So the new on top of the original. So our scale factor is 4. Okay. Now that should still be the same ratio around. Let's go to this next part. 2.5 was enlarged to 10. So 10 is our new, 2.5 is our old, and that's a scale factor if you divide that of 4. So our scale factor is the same all the way around. So we would say that these are similar. They're similar because they have the same scale factor. Okay? So let's try this one over here. Triangle EFG is reduced to form triangle M. Okay, now look where it's starting. E is here. We go from E to F. I want you to see where we went. E to F, E to F, and we're going to go from M to N. M to N. Okay, so here's our new one. 2.5 over what was the original? 5. You have to make sure you can find the corresponding angles. If it helps to color code and use a highlighter, then do that. That would make it so much better. Okay, so what's the scale factor here? The scale factor here, I know that 2.5 goes into itself once and into 5 2 times. So 1/2. This triangle here is 1/2 of this one. Well, let's see if that works for another side. Because if you remember, it has to be all the sides, all the corresponding sides. Okay? So let's do another side. So FG, let's do this one in yellow. FG is our new side, and that goes with NO. So FG goes with NO. Okay, so the new is 3, the old is 6, and that is indeed 1/2. So there you go. And then you could also do that with OM and GE, and you would get the same. It's 1/2. Okay, based on questions 6 and 7, what do you notice about the scale factor of enlargement? What do you notice about the scale factor of reduction? What do you think the scale factor of 1 would result in? Okay, so a scale factor of 1, that's a great question. Let's talk about the other stuff. Okay, so a scale factor greater than 1, let's put this down. Greater than 1 means it's going to get bigger. So it enlarges. And a scale factor of less than 1, it gets smaller. It reduces. So what do you think happens when we have a scale factor of 1? Well, it's going to be the same. Scale factor of 1 is equal or congruent. So those would be congruent. Okay, one more question here. Trapezoid QRST. So we're starting with Q and we're going to R. We're going to do this side first. QRST corresponds, see the QR? Corresponds with WX. This side. WX. On the trapezoid. Determine whether each statement is true or false. Okay? So, and they say that they're similar. So they're already telling us they're similar. Okay? So, angles QRS. So, QRS, that means this angle. Angle QRS is congruent to angle ZWX. This one right here. That would be false. And why would that be false? Because that would be false because, look, we're not looking at the same angle. We went from Q, it would have to be QRS, and then it would have to be angle WXY. It would have to be this angle. That would be the same. Okay, that would be congruent. Okay, what about RS? So RS, let's color it different. RS over XY. Okay, RS over XY. RS over XY should be equal to ST. Let's get a different color here. ST over YZ. Well, that would be true. That would be true. Okay? I want you to try the last two on your own. And let's see how you do. Okay, did you get them right? Okay, the last thing that you're going to do is the worksheet for today. It says Intro to Similarity, not handout. Let me show you what it looks like. I don't think I uploaded it. I have it here. Let me show you what you're going to work on today. And you will need to take this out of your notes and turn it in. So let me show it to you. Independent practice. Yours might say homework or it might say independent practice. So it's right here. Corresponding angles and sides, and then tell me the scale factor. Corresponding angles and sides, tell me the scale factor. So you're going to work on this on your piece of paper, and then you need to turn this in, and it'll be corrected, and it'll be a grade. So you'll have two things that are graded. Your ed puzzle that you're working on, and then this right here. Those are the two things that will be graded. Okay? Thank you.